Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Give me 1 second. Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are doing well. If you can hear me, just let me know, because sometimes these systems are notorious when it comes to volume. So go ahead and let me know if you can hear me. You can put a comment either in YouTube, or you can put a comment on Facebook and let me know if you can hear me. And then we can go from there. I am excited about today. I'm excited about this session. So let me just make sure that you can hear me. Oh, hi, Esther. How are you? Yes, you are here on time. Just let me know if you can hear the sound. I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me before I start with the session. This is going to be a very quick session. We're going to talk about procrastination. So let me just give people like 1 more minute. I want to just make sure we have the volume. So okay. Yeah, I had to check with my cell phone. Okay. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for logging in. Happy Tuesday. So good to see each and every one of you on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you are out there, go ahead and just share this go share this with your people so they don't miss out, because today we want to talk about procrastination. This is just a free session that I wanted to share with everybody, because I know a lot of times we have a lot of big goals for the new year, but a lot of people struggle in meeting those goals because of procrastination. So we want to go ahead and just tackle that a little bit during this quick 1 hour. I know most of you in the US, this is your lunchtime. In Kenya, it's already evening. You guys are almost about to go to bed. And in the UK, it's at 6 p.m. So you guys are just getting off work. And so I want to go ahead and just encourage you to go ahead and just check this, spend a few moments with us today as we talk on procrastination. And then also feel free to invite other people. Feel free to share this. We have it on our YouTube channel, which is actually showing on the screen, which is Breaking Limitations with Joyce Marendes. And then it's also on my coaching page, which is Joyce Marendes, the coach. So guys, go ahead and feel free to share even as I start this session. And just make sure that, let me know if the volume is right, because for some reason I've been struggling with this thing with the volume. So just let me know if the volume is right, and we can go right into starting with the session. So how many people struggle with procrastination? I know procrastination is one of those things where we all experience some procrastination in our lives. But I wanted to come here and just give you some tips that I've been able to learn over the years, how to be able to overcome procrastination, because we all have an assignment, we all have big goals that we have. But a lot of times it's not so much lacking talent, but we actually just lack in fulfilling our commitments. And one of the things that I found that really affects us when it comes to fulfilling our commitments is just procrastination, because sometimes maybe we procrastinate, we wait for too long until the opportunity passes, or or we just don't start on time, so we don't give ourselves enough time to be able to show our very best when it comes to different opportunities. So I wanted to talk about that today. And then, of course, if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to go ahead and ask those questions during this session, and we'll try to answer those questions within the allotted time frame. And if you do not, and of course, if your question is not answered, you can still send me an inbox and message, and I'll be able to reach out to you, see if it's something I can be able to help you with. So today I want to talk about procrastination. And I always like to start with definition so I can make sure that we are all thinking about the same thing, because I never like to assume that everybody is thinking the way I'm thinking, or everybody knows the meaning of the word just the same way I know it. So I always like to at least give I always like to give a definition. And so the word procrastination, it's actually from the dictionary, it says that procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. So the action of delaying or postponing something. And then in Latin, procrastination comes from the word pro, which means forward, and then crustinators, which means till the next day. So when we talk about procrastination, it means that we're moving things forward, and we're also moving it forward to the next day. And so one time I had this article that said that procrastination basically means that the world is going to be ruled by the leaders of tomorrow, meaning the tomorrow that never gets here. So procrastination is a big thing. We all experience it, but we also know that we have to find a way to at least overcome it, and so that we can be able to live at our maximum potential. So procrastination, what are some of the things that you've lost because of procrastination? Personally, I've lost so many opportunities when it comes to business deals because either I was procrastinating on getting my paperwork ready and I ended up missing that opportunity or missing a deadline. I have people who have missed on getting major grants for their businesses, or even some money that was available that they missed out on the deadline because they just procrastinated and did not start getting the paperwork on time. I have people who have delayed we procrastinate even in things like leaving a toxic relationship. You're like, you know what, I know it's toxic for me, but I'll wait until tomorrow. I'll wait until next week. I'll wait until this and this lines up. So we have so many different ways. We have so many different examples of procrastination. Excuse me. Or even sometimes you delay maybe in filing your taxes, or you delay in filing some paperwork that you need to file, and then you end up having to pay, so that now you have to pay extra because of late fees and things like that. Or even just for me, just this last week, I had delayed in getting my tags for the car, and so I ended up having to pay like a little extra fee, which normally I wouldn't have had to pay that fee because I would have gotten it on time and I would just pick it up. But now I had to pay all this convenience fee to have them send it by mail, doing it online, and things like that. So it's just there's just a lot of things that we can lose out there because of procrastination. So I want to go ahead and just tackle that a little bit, and then we'll be done with this session. So procrastination is there are many things that we've missed out on when it comes to procrastination, even when it comes to even things that our own procrastination may be affecting our children, or maybe we needed to fill out something for the kids so that they can be able to get a special grant or a special something in the school, and we procrastinate and not do it on time, and so the kids end up not getting the grant or the special treatment or whatever they need to do. And then another area where we really procrastinate on is our health. How many times have you had a symptom and then you decided that, you know what, I'll just get it checked later. I'll get it checked later. And that later never gets here. And so you find yourself now the diagnosis is even much worse because you didn't get to have it checked on time. And this especially because I know sometimes when you have certain diagnosis or you have something in your family line, it can be scary having to go to the doctor, having to have them check it out to just see what's going on. But it's important to also realize that when you do not get it checked, when you have an issue going on and you don't get it checked, most of the time just procrastinating might cause the diagnosis to, might, it wouldn't be caught on time. And sometimes just early diagnosis is always best, especially when it comes to things like cancer, even diabetes, heart attacks, and all those different things. We all those things, most of them we can be able, if caught on early, it can save your life. But then now when you take a lot of time and you don't get things diagnosed on time, that can cause you to be that can cause for you to get like a worse diagnosis than what it was supposed to be. So, today I want to talk about procrastination, because what causes procrastination? What causes us to do these things that we mentally know that I'm supposed to do this by 5 p.m., but I don't start until 4, and then I feel all rushed. I feel like, oh, I don't have enough time. Why can't I ask for an extension? Or maybe I can't give my best work because I didn't have enough time, and yet you had been given enough time, but you just couldn't get yourself to starting doing that work until the last minute. So procrastination is a big deal, because as we talk about 2020, this is the year where people are saying they're going to do massive impact. This is the year that people are saying that they're going to be, they're gonna live their best life. They're gonna do all these major things that we've seen on people's vision boards, and we've seen people dancing and shouting in church. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing that is so disappointing is that a lot of people are gifted and they're talented and they can do those things that they say they can do. But the thing that robs them all the time is procrastination. Most people know that if I was to put effort to start my business, I can actually succeed. But the process of just starting the business, the process of writing that business plan, the process of just going to register my business, that is where we find that a lot of people just find themselves stuck, and they don't get to start doing the things they're supposed to do. So, hi, Alan. Good to see you. Hi, Esther. Good to see you all. And so, when it comes to procrastination, procrastinators have a desire to start doing something, yet they are unable to force themselves to do so. So, and then also procrastination shouldn't be confused with resting or relaxing, because when it comes to resting or relaxing, most of the time when you're resting or you're relaxing, you're trying to rejuvenate yourself so that you can be able to get some work done. But when it comes to procrastination, it means that it actually depletes your energy, because the more you think of the thing that you need to do, the more you think of the assignment that you have, the more you find yourself just dreading and not starting to do it. And that steals your energy, that steals your ability, that steals your energy, and then your energy is so depleted. That's why sometimes you'll find yourself saying that I want to go ahead and do this thing, but you procrastinate, and then later you're like, I'm so tired, let me just go sleep, and then I'll wake up and I'll start over, and maybe I'll be fresh, I'll be able to do it. So that's one of the things that robs us. So we find ourselves wasting so much time not able to start the thing that we said we're gonna start. And so because I've struggled with procrastination, I decided I'm going to research, I'm going to find out, why do we procrastinate, or why do I procrastinate? And so with the things that I've learned, I said, let me just go ahead and share this. And of course, if any of this helps you, great. If it doesn't help you, you already know what it is, that's great too. So, according to neuroscience, our brain has two structures that affect what we do. Just to give you a warning, I love neuroscience. I wasn't that good in sciences at all when I was growing up, but then I discovered a few years ago that for me to be able to see any change in my life, I had to understand how my brain works. Once I know how my brain works, then I'll know how to manipulate it to make me so that I can be able to do the things I need to do. And so when it comes to our brain, so according to neuroscience, they say that our brain has two structures that affect what we do. We have the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. So that's the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. The limbic system, it's a structure that contains our pleasure center. So the center that wants to have fun, the part that wants to enjoy watching Netflix, watching a whole series on Netflix. That's what the limbic center controls. It wants to just have pleasure. And then the prefrontal cortex, it's the one that controls planning and decision making. So with this too, when it comes to when you want to do an assignment, the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex system, one has to overpower the other for you to be able to do what you need to do. So the limbic system, it's more developed. It's a part of they say it's the oldest and most active part of the brain. It is more developed, and it's almost like on autopilot. So we are always on that part where we just want to have pleasure. How can it be good for me? How can it be easier for me? How can I have fun? How can I enjoy myself? That's what the part of the limbic system. But the prefrontal cortex system, this is where it's not as developed as the limbic system, because this is a part where you have to learn how to do decision making, how to get things done, how to plan, how to control, and all that, how to control things in your life or your behavior and things like that. So this part is not full, it's not always very developed, because the limbic system started from beginning. It was already there, it was working, and then now this other part had to kind of develop. So when it comes to making decisions, it becomes very hard if you haven't developed your prefrontal cortex system. It becomes a little bit hard for you to make decisions that are good for you, so that you don't procrastinate, because your limbic system, which is the part that always wants to have fun and wants to enjoy itself, will always try to overpower the prefrontal cortex system. So in the limbic system, it plays the role, it holds the role of your emotions and your mood. Most of us, I don't know about you, but we always want to have to be in a good mood. We always want to feel good. And so this part right here, this is where our brain this is where it also controls our hormones. It controls our hunger and our thirst and our mood. And so most of the time you'll find that even when when you decide that you want to go do something that's really important, you'll be like, you know what, let me, instead, before I study for that test, let me go and eat. And then before you know it, let me just go and make some popcorn. Oh, let me just get this drink first. It's like it just wants to feel good. Because that limbic system controls your hunger, your mood, and your thirst, and your hormones and all that. And then it's also in this part of the limbic system where we also develop habits when it comes to, and also movement and learning. So when it comes to our habits, what we teach, what we constantly do becomes our habit. So if we constantly postpone things so that we can be able to do them at a later time, because we want to have fun right now, that's what we are teaching ourselves, and we are teaching our system to always want to postpone until the last minute. And so understanding this helps us a lot, because just being Luya, I see you, Alan. Yeah, so when you're talking about this, so the limbic system, where it's super developed, and so when you know that this part is already there, and you know that this part is supersedes the logical part of you, the prefrontal cortex, where you need to be able to do more planning, having more complex planning and behavior and all that, then you already you're already ahead, because you know that this part of me that wants to always just have fun, I can put it on pause for a little bit so that I can get some work done. And so the limbic system, when you're thinking of limbic system, just think of wanting to have fun, even before you pay the price. You just want, let me first relax and watch a movie, and then after that I'll do that business plan. Or let me relax, watch a movie, or let me go. You see, I'm talking about movies all the time. You can tell how I like movies. But anyway, let me go and do shopping, or let me even go wash the dishes. Sometimes we do all these other extra things so that we can avoid doing the main thing that we're supposed to do. But in this season that we're in, if you want to accomplish the goals that you've been called to accomplish, you have to be able to understand how your brain works so that you can make it work for you instead of making it work against you. So the other part that is really important is the prefrontal cortex system. This is the part of your brain that focuses on making those complex planning and complex decisions and all that. And it also complex decision makings. And so in this part, they say that this is the part of the brain that truly separates humans from animals who are controlled by their stimuli. Because in our prefrontal, this words, prefrontal cortex system, when it's developed, we're able to plan, we're able to make decisions, we're able to have personality expressions, we're able to make decisions that differentiate us from animals and all that. And so it's a very important part, and we need to develop it. And so when it comes to procrastination, most of the time we suffer from procrastination because we want to constantly do the things that make us feel good. But this other part of you that focuses on decision making, on planning and all that, you want to be able to develop this part so that you can be able to make decisions easily. So for me, this learning this information made it easier for me to understand that there are two parts of me when I'm trying to make a decision, and I have to start developing this other part of me that is more disciplined, this other part of me that makes that focuses on decision making. I have to focus more on developing that part, because this other part of me, of the limbic system, wants to have fun. It wants things to be easy. It wants to always make sure, oh, am I hungry? Let me go eat. Let me go drink this and all that. The limbic system wants to just kind of like party and have a good time. But this other part of us, which is the prefrontal cortex, is a part that wants to that helps us with our decision making. So when we start to develop that part, we become stronger in our decision making. We become stronger when it comes to deciding that I'm going to do this and not procrastinate, or let me go ahead and do this thing that I need to do. Let me do it on time so that I can be able to reward myself at a later time. So the limbic system wants you to reward yourself before you do the work. But when you understand that the prefrontal cortex is the part of you that needs to be making decisions, that does all the planning and everything, then you can start to develop that part of you first, so that even when you're tempted to start rewarding yourself before you do the work, you don't do it. So there are a lot of effects that happen to our lives when we that affects our health when we procrastinate, because a lot of times we look at it and just say, anyway, I just procrastinated, or I just missed that opportunity because I was procrastinating. Or we'll say, oh, I missed this and this because of procrastination. But so when it comes to procrastination, the effects of it on your health is you have poor academic performance, because you constantly have you had people who say that, oh, I work well under pressure? So they've been able to prove that there's nothing like that saying that you work well under pressure, because you just like to procrastinate, and then when things happen, you think that now when you get your results, you think that that you work well under pressure, but actually it just means that you're capable of doing way more, but you procrastinated so you couldn't even reach your maximum capacity because you did the things last minute or because you waited for too long. And so I want to encourage you to really think of your life and think of some of the things that opportunities you've missed, and look even at in your own, like when you're looking back, how you made decisions, or maybe some, if it's academic performance or even performance at work, are there some things that they said, yes, you did a good job, but you know deep inside you could have done better if you had spent enough time, or you could have done better if you had made the right choice, if you had made the decision to actually spend all that time doing the work instead of just waiting till last minute. And I know sometimes we don't quantify this, but I can give you one of the examples is maybe you could be making, and I'll just throw it out there. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year and you constantly make your decisions last minute. Do you know if you make $100,000 a year and you're constantly doing things last minute, that means you have the potential to make $1 million a year if you use your time effectively, if you allow yourself to start doing the things you're supposed to do on time and give yourself enough time to maximize your capacity. So I want you to know that as you procrastinate, just let yourself know that I'm selling myself short. I could be way over here, but I'm selling myself short. And this is not the time for you to sit and waste time, especially if you're not where you're supposed to be. You should not waste time. You should not waste time procrastinating. Let this be something that pushes you so that you decide, you know what, I'm going to stop procrastinating because I'm losing. If money is what drives you, say I'm losing money, you're losing money. I mean, losing thousands of dollars, you're losing thousands of opportunities that you could be doing other things that could push you to a different level, but you decided to just go ahead and let the pleasure side of you control you. So I know there's greatness inside of you. So don't settle for just this. Don't settle for just feeling good for a little bit or wasting time and all that. So another effect of procrastination on your health is stress. Procrastination increases your level of stress. A lot of times when you have to do something last minute, you know that increases your level of stress. You're so stressed out. Sometimes you even feel like, even like for us who are parents, sometimes we get mad at our children. Maybe you are about to do a project last minute, then your child is there, they dropped their water bottle, and you have to now wipe everything, and you know it's wasting your time. Now you're screaming at your child. But the truth is, if you had started to do your work early, you wouldn't, even if your child had spilled the water, you would have had time to clean it and without having to scream at them. And I can just relate with all these things because these are things I've done. These are things that I know, that better planning, and if I'd reduced my if I'd stopped procrastinating, I would have reduced my level of stress. So, and of course, stress is bad for your body, stress is bad for your heart, stress is bad for your lungs, because you know stress will lead to heart attack, all those things, blood pressure, diabetes, and everything. Because sometimes we don't look at the big picture of what it's causing. So the big picture is that heart attack, that blood pressure, that cancer, all those different things that could happen because of procrastination. Another part of procrastination is mental health. Procrastination greatly affects your mental health. So a lot of times when you spend so much time procrastinating, it causes you to actually feel depressed and anxious. It causes you to have fatigue and also reduced satisfaction. So when it comes to so one of the things we have to be very clear is that for you to be able to do anything of significance, you need to have your right mind. you can be able to do whatever you need to do, maybe without a leg. You can be able to do whatever you need to do without a hand, or you can be able to do it without something else part of your body, but you cannot do the assignment that you're supposed to do without your right mind. And so you have to know that as you're procrastinating, you are increasing your stress level. As you're procrastinating, you are actually affecting your mental health, and and you need to be in your right mind to be able to make the right decisions for you in 2023, so that you can be able to maximize your potential, so that you can be able to do the assignment that God has called you to do. Because it's easy for us to be in church and to dance and to say what all these things that we're going to do in 2023, but if you don't have your right mind, honey, I know you will not fulfill that assignment. It's just going to be something else that you'll dance about, you'll dance around, or you'll dance over it, or whatever, and then you will not accomplish anything, and then you'll get frustrated at the end of the year saying, why did this with this, why, oh, I didn't get to accomplish what I'd set my heart to do. So procrastination has so many, it really affects your health. So I want to be able to really encourage you that that this is something to look at and see that procrastination is actually stealing your money. If you want to make money, you cannot afford to lose your opportunities because of procrastination. So we're going to talk about how to overcome procrastination. So I just gave you the basis of what procrastination is. I gave you the description of what it is, so we can make sure that we're all on the same page. And then I also gave you the meanings, and then also the two parts of the brain that really affect us when it comes to procrastination, which is the limbic system, and then the pre-head. I tell you, my African accent is being challenged here. My prefrontal cortex area. So those two systems are really the ones that affect you when it comes to procrastination. So how do we overcome procrastination? So procrastination is a big deal, but if you try to attack it like you can't just attack it like you can attack it, but you have to be smart at how you do it. So for example, if you want to one of the ways to be able to address and want to be able to address procrastination or to overcome procrastination is to break your tasks into manageable steps. So for example, if you always procrastinate, you said from January that you're going to start working out for an hour. Yeah, good for you. But you haven't worked out since COVID started. So that's like 3 years. You haven't worked out. If you want to start going to the gym, telling yourself that you're going to be working out for for 1 whole hour, that might be pushing it. Your brain might look at it and say, hey, that's just too much. I don't think that's something we can do. Then you'll find yourself procrastinating and never doing it. So when you want to start, you want to break it into something manageable that you can actually be able to check it off your list and say, at least I was able to say that I'm going to do this, and I'll do it. So one of the things that you want to be able to do is to be able to break it into manageable steps. So for example, if it's going to the gym and you want to be able to go to the gym or you want to be able to exercise, not even going to the gym, you want to be able to exercise for 1 hour each day, and you're just starting off. Instead of starting off with just saying, okay, 1 hour, let me try to exercise for 1 hour, just give yourself 5 minutes. Say, you know what, I'll set a timer here. I'll try to exercise for 5 minutes. When the timer goes off, at least I'll have finished my task for the day, and then I'll be able to at least, and then I'll try again tomorrow. You want to give yourselves a small, manageable task that you cannot fail. Because, or even if you say, I'm just going to lift some 5-pound weights 5 times or 10 times, start with that. Don't start by saying, I'm going to just exercise for a whole hour. I'm going to walk 5 miles. Just going to do it. Because when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you will not be able to sustain it, because you're going to you're going to fall off the wagon within 2-3 days, because that's what we've seen. People set all these goals at the beginning of the year, and they sign up for gym. They actually go and buy exercise workout clothes, and they look all, energetic. They look hot, so that when they go to the gym every single day at 5 a.m., and then they just never get to doing it, because they started so big that their brain could not even the brain could not even allow them to go further with that thought, because deep inside we don't want to fail, and so our brain is trying to protect us from failing. And so we want to be able to set small manageable goals, so that when we actually accomplish those small goals, our brain is like, oh, she said she's gonna walk for 5 minutes, and she did. So now when you try to walk for 7 minutes, your brain will not try to talk you out of it, because it's like, oh, yesterday she walked 5 minutes, Tuesday she walked 5 minutes, Wednesday she walked 5 minutes. So if she says she'll walk seven, she can do it. But now if I come from 5 minutes and then I just say 50 minutes tomorrow, my brain will be like, hold up, that's something you can do. And your brain is like the Secret Service. It wants to protect you from hurt. It wants to protect you from failure. Even if that whatever you're trying to do is good for you, your brain doesn't know that. Your brain just knows that last time you said you're gonna work out for one hour, you didn't make it. So we have to protect you from making such silly decisions again. So that's how your brain works. So you have to be able to break your tasks into manageable steps. Okay. And so I just want to go ahead first and just yes, I do see we have Latosha Davis Johnson here. Good to see you. Naomi Lulu, good to see you. Alan Lawrence, good to see you. Grace, good to see you. And Pastor Israel, good to see you. And so we want to so we want to make sure we break our tasks into small manageable steps. And then the second thing is um, commit to tiny fast steps. So for example, if you are going to be, let's say for example, if there's something at like for example, let's say if you have an assignment that you need to do, or maybe you need to write your business plan, instead of instead of coming and just saying, I'm gonna do my whole business plan this I'm gonna do my whole business plan this week or this month or whatever. Set small, tiny little steps. And one of the steps you can set up is, okay, I'm gonna think of the name I want to have for my business, or maybe I'm just gonna get my business registered. Something really like one tiny step. Start doing those things one at a time. Your big goal is to be able to set up your business, to be able to have your business plan and have everything up and running, but you don't want to set such a big goal. You want to break it down into small portions. So start with a tiny step, or maybe just say, okay, in the business plan, I'm just going to try to just write the introduction. Or maybe if it's a paper that's due for school, you can just say, okay, I'm going to just write the first paragraph. I know we need to do 10 pages, but for today, I'm just going to start on the first paragraph. And so you want to do that so that you can just make those tiny commitments, and then you meet those commitments, then you make it a little bit bigger next time, and a little bit bigger, until you're able to accomplish the work that you're supposed to do. Hi, Cecilia. Good to see you, Coach. And then the next thing to do to overcome procrastination is to give yourself permission to make mistakes. And this one is a big one, because a lot of times when you have an assignment to do, most of the time we want to make it all perfect. And when you do that, it's too stressful. So because because you maybe, let's say, for example, if it's you want to write a book, and you just want to start writing, they always tell you, when you're writing, just write. Don't worry about them, how the what is it called, like the English or the tense, past tense, present. Don't mind anything about, just write it, and then just write a portion, and then you can look at it later. And so the same thing, even when it comes to anything that you're doing, you just want to give yourself permission to do it without perfection or anything. Just start, because there's so much power in action. When you make the decision to just start, then things start to flow. But when you just sit and you're paralyzed and you're not starting, you're just dreading, waiting for the perfect moment, nothing really flows. And that's when you get depressed. That's when you get stressed. That's when you get what they call writer's block and all those different things, because now you can't even get to accomplish anything. But the moment you decide to just do it anyway, then you're able to think outside the box. You're able to get more ideas, and you're able to do what you need to do to move towards that goal. So that's how you can fight procrastination. And then another big one is you have to prepare in advance. If you know that you always procrastinate, then you have to remove all the distractions that cause you to, all the things that cause you to be distracted, so that you can be able to do the things that you need to do. So you need to make it easier for yourself by preparing the area that you're in. If you're gonna be, let's say, studying, maybe studying, writing a paper in your office or in your living room, wherever you are, you want to be able to remove all the distractions before you start. So you have to do this in advance, because most of the time, I can tell you from experience, even today when I was trying to prepare and just to be ready for this session, I looked at the kitchen and I was like, okay, I need to wash these dishes. So I washed the dishes, and then I was like, okay, I need to do something else. And so those are the small things that keep coming up when we need to focus on something. Because sometimes you'll find that you are at peace, you are not even you're minding your own business, but the moment you decide that you want to start working on that paper, or the moment you decide that you want to start working on your business, or you want to start calling your clients, that's when you realize that, oh, the show that I was waiting for, not Netflix, is actually coming on right now. Or you realize that, oh, when you start looking at TikTok, that's when every funny person on TikTok is on, and you keep looking and you're laughing. So all those different things, you can remove a lot of distractions. Like when, if you want to, let's say, write a business paper or something, remove your phone, turn off your phone, or turn off your notifications, and move everything away that would distract you. If your place is messy and you know that when it's messy, it's going to affect how you think, clean it up, so that by the time you're getting to doing it, it doesn't affect you or doesn't distract you or cause you to start doing, to cause you to waste time by sidetracking you from doing what you're supposed to do. So preparing your area in advance is very important. And then the other thing you want to do is to make sure that your tasks, you can find ways to make your tasks more enjoyable. Sometimes playing music in the background can make you feel good while you're doing your work, while you're typing. That's why sometimes, when people are working from home, they're able to play the music they like without feeling all stressed out. So things like that can help you, to make your work environment more enjoyable, and so that even as you start to work on your tasks, then you're not really getting distracted. You're actually enjoying what you're doing, especially if you're doing the work that you actually love to do. You want to make the environment enjoyable, so that you can do all the things you do. The other thing that I want to say, um this one is I like this point here. It's about, they call it eat the frog. Do the tasks that you dread the most first, because when you do it first, then you don't have to worry about thinking about it later. So, and this one for me is a big one, because there's some things that I just don't like doing. And so because I don't like doing, I will procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate, and I won't do it. And it will keep bugging me, bugging me, bugging me. So I always try to encourage you, eat the frog first, meaning that do the tasks that you don't like, start doing them first, and then so you can get them out of the way. So you should look at your, because a lot of times we get paralyzed by our to-do list. We have so many things on the to-do list that we feel like, okay, what should I start with? And there are too many things. I don't think I can finish it, or it's too much. There are all these different things we think about and we get stressed about. But one of the things you can do is look at the tasks that you have for the day. Oh, even before I talk about the tasks, you need to write a list of the things you need to do. Because I know not everybody writes a list. You need to have a list of the things you need to do first. And then we look through the list and decide that which one am I dreading to do the most. And then you start with that. And that's what they say, eat the frog fast, because that task that they're talking about, calling it the frog, it's like the thing you really, really don't want to do, but you want to do that first, especially if it's, let's say, during the day. You want to start with that first so that it doesn't stress you the rest of the day. So for example, you might have a client who, maybe this is going to be like a difficult conversation. You don't want to dread and just keep it on hold until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You want to call the client first thing in the morning, let them know the bad news or whatever it is, and so that you can be able to start your day. And actually, maybe during the day, you'll be able to get better news and you'll be able to do other things without you having it in the back of your mind, thinking that, oh man, I need to call this client. Oh man, I need to tell them this bad news. Oh, I need to let them know XYZ. So that's what we call Eat the Frog First. And it's a book by Brian Tracy. And you can look it up online. And actually I think they even have it on YouTube, where you can actually just listen to it. You don't even have to buy it. You can listen to it and just listen to the concepts that he talks about eating the frog fast. So you want to always make a list so you can know from just by looking at it, what do I need to accomplish for today? And then start to picking on the list to see which ones are the most important. And then you start doing those ones first. Okay. So yeah, because I realized that I'm assuming that everybody writes tasks down, but but people don't do, not everybody does that. And then there are people who use calendars. So you can also use your calendar, and then you just put like you list on your calendar, you just list the tasks that you need to do first, and then the ones that are least important to do them much later. The ones that don't really stress you out, you can do them much later. Okay. And then plan how to handle obstacles. So you need to decide that if X happens, then I'll do Y. So you have to think ahead and know that no matter what, we are in this world, this imperfect world. And so no matter how good of a planner you are, things might happen. You might find yourself just not things might not fall in place the way you want them to fall in place. And so you need to be able to pre-plan, so that you say that, okay, if I can't do this, then I know I'm going to do this. So for me, some of the things I know that distract me even in the office is, I realize that when I carry food from home, I don't get distracted, because I know, you know what, if I just need to eat my snack, I go get it from the fridge. I have it with me. If I need to go and eat my lunch, I can just warm it in the microwave because I have it with me. But I know the trouble comes when I don't pre-plan myself, and I find that, oh man, I'm so hungry, I need to go out and buy food, I need to go and get this snack or whatever. Those distract me and they waste my day, and I'm not even in the office long enough to be able to waste that kind of time. So I already know, if I have some stuff that I put in the office, and then I always try to carry my lunch, but I realize if I don't carry my lunch, or if I forgot, or there was nothing for me to carry, then there are certain things I know that I will eat when I'm in the office, so that I don't have to go out to eat lunch, or I don't have to go out to buy food and stuff like that. And so those are things you can actually do, even when you know that certain things, if this happens, maybe it's going to distract me from my goal, then I need to go to and it might cause me to do XYZ. Pre-plan, and you'll be able to save yourself time, and you won't procrastinate. Because one of the things that causes even to procrastinate is when broken focus. Broken focus is something that has destroyed so many talented people, because you focus for a short time, and then you get distracted by doing something else, and then you try to get back again. They say it takes you like almost 11 minutes to get back to the thing you are doing. And so you can imagine if you get distracted all the time, maybe you have your phone, and I'm talking to me too. So you have your phone here, and you're here typing on you're here doing your work, and then you get a notification on your phone, then you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, let me see this. Oh, what happened to this person? Okay, you waste 10 minutes, then you get back to your work, you do your work again, and then you get another notification, or this time was on TikTok, then it was, oh, it was a funny TikTok and all that. Broken focus will affect your ability to perform at your maximum capacity. Our goal is to be able to become everything that we are supposed to be. So we want to make sure that we can focus. And for us to be able to focus, we have to remove all kinds of distractions and obstacles our way. And then when it comes to reducing procrastination, you can also increase your motivation by either like marking, you can mark on your calendar or things like that, whereby you can say, you know what, um, maybe I have for the last 5 days I've been able to go to the gym. So each day that you go to the gym, you can mark it on your calendar or draw a line on it to show that day 1 at the gym, day 2 I was able to do 5 minutes at the gym, day 3 I was able to do 7 minutes, day 4 I was able to do 9 minutes. Things like that can motivate you to keep you going, so that you feel like, you know what, I can actually accomplish this goal. I don't have to procrastinate. So those small things can help to increase your motivation. Or even when you say that, you know what, every day when I wake up, I'm going to listen to something motivational. I'll listen to it for like 5 minutes. So every day that you're able to do that, you can kind of congratulate yourself, high five yourself. If you need to buy yourself a Starbucks because you're like, whoa, 5 days in a row, I've been able to wake up and I did what I said I need to do. You can increase your motivation by celebrating yourself. So you don't have to wait for someone to celebrate you. You don't have to belittle your success, no matter how small it is. Celebrate you. So that, because if the more you celebrate you, the more your brain is like, oh my gosh, let's try and accomplish this again, and then you end up doing it, and then before you know it, you're actually doing some big things, and then you're able to accomplish your goals. Other one is using time management techniques. So when it comes to time management, you want to make sure that you're able to manage the allotted time that you have. So when you start to plan your day, you will find it, when you start to plan your day, especially every single day, you're gonna, and when you put it on a calendar, you'll be able to see how you're supposed to spend your day. And when you don't spend your day that way, you can be able to reflect at the end of the day to see, what did I miss? Why didn't I accomplish this? What was I doing that caused me to miss out on this 30 minutes here or this 40 minutes here? Just learning to just take time to think of how your day was. Think of your highs, which are the things that actually, the good things that happened to you, and then also think of your lows. What were some of the things that were like that you didn't really like about your day, and just learn to reflect on your day, because I know sometimes we are so busy, we just spend time going, and we don't even reflect on our day. So learn to just start to reflect on your day, and then you just start to think, what could I change about today so that I don't end up doing it tomorrow, or what could I increase? So maybe in going to the gym, maybe you did exercise for 5 minutes, now you can say I can do it for 10 minutes tomorrow. Or maybe you ended up not, like for me, maybe I didn't carry lunch and I ended up wasting so much time. So this time maybe I can say, you know what, I'm gonna make sure I go ahead and carry my lunch, or I can make sure that I have something to eat so that I don't get distracted and waste time. So those are some of the things you can just start to learn to reflect on your day, and make it your ritual, whereby in the morning, if you're waking up and you listen to something motivational, when you're going to bed, reflect on your day, be grateful that you had that day, and then reflect on what was good about it, and what are some of the things that were challenging, and how could you change it so that you don't have to repeat the same day tomorrow. So those are some of the things you can do to be able to manage your time, and then create studying rituals. So this habits and rituals are really important. We find that the most successful people out there, all these like people we call successful, the millionaires, the people who are leaders, amazing leaders, they all have powerful rituals. And so you have to have a ritual for your life. Meaning, and when I talk about rituals, I'm not talking about like something spooky or anything. I'm just saying the habits that you have to have a habit of how, when you wake up in the morning, this is what I want to do. Some people say, okay, I want to pray, then I want to read my Bible, then I want to listen to something motivational, or I want to wake up, I want to exercise, I want to do this. Have a ritual that you can actually follow every single day. That helps your brain to know that this is a habit that we are cultivating. And so it's not going, your brain will not be very resistant when you start to introduce more things, and when you start to do it often, because your brain will kind of see like, okay, this is kind of where we are going. We'll be waking up in the morning and we'll be doing this, we'll be reading this book, or we'll be listening to something motivational, then we'll exercise, maybe we'll run, maybe we'll do this, all that stuff. So I have so many other points, but I know it's time is over. We only have 4 minutes because I'm supposed to be here only for 1 hour. And so another thing I wanted to talk about was self-compassion. You have to develop self-compassion, reminding yourself that everyone makes mistakes. So when you make a mistake, don't just throw in the towel and say, you know what, I don't even have to do it. I'm not the kind to do this kind of stuff anyway. Because I see a lot of people who disqualify themselves from becoming something powerful, from reaching their potential, from doing big things. They disqualify themselves because they give up on themselves so easily. So I want to encourage you to have compassion on you. If you've been living without with if you've been living for the last 30 years just doing all these things that are not working for you, that's fine, because it's going to take long for you to learn some new behaviors. So have compassion on yourself, to just know that, okay, I know that I am still learning. So right now I can only do 5 minutes of maybe reading a motivational book, or 5 minutes of doing this, or maybe 5 minutes of whatever it is. Just set small goals and don't give up. Keep doing them, keep doing them. The more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. So have compassion on yourself, and don't give up on yourself. And then the other last thing I wanted to say was that sometimes if you are very if you procrastinate a lot, or maybe you can't focus and things like that, there could be an underlying condition within you too. So there could be something like ADHD, that could be an underlying condition that can only be diagnosed if you go to the doctor. So there are several things we can do, but most of us, we procrastinate just because of just habits. Our habits are off, and then we've just not learned to develop to be more structured and more focused. And I am talking also for me, because for me it's been such a big struggle. And that's why my heart goes out to people who are struggling with this, because procrastination has stolen so many great opportunities from people. It's stolen opportunities from me, from my children, things that I could have done. It has stolen a lot of things, but we don't have to settle there. We just have to know that we have the ability to change, as long as we want to change, and we can become everything that we put our hearts to do. And always just remember that the more you procrastinate, the more you are losing money, especially if you don't have money to eat, you don't have money for food, you don't have money for rent, you don't have money for vacation, and you're sitting and procrastinating. Just know that procrastination is stealing from you. So you have to just force yourself to get up and let that part of you that makes decisions, that can be able to just start making those decisions, so that you don't find yourself falling into your limbic system, where you just want to have fun and enjoy yourself. So if you guys have any questions, it's 1 o'clock, so I will go ahead, and I want to log off, because I promised that it was only going to be 1 hour. But if you have any questions, go ahead and just put them in the comments, and I'll also check our YouTube. So guys in YouTube, if you have any questions, go ahead also and post that there, and then I'll be able to answer. And I'm going to go ahead and put information here for one of the upcoming. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to get several things that I keep posting over here all the time regarding some of the things that we are doing. And then also, if you have, I have a class coming up. It's gonna be on, it's called Discover Your Superpower. Okay, yeah. It's going to be Discover Your Superpower class, and it's going to be on February. It's going to be on February 11th. It starts on February 11th. It's an 8-week class. We go over a lot of information when it comes to you and discovering who you are, understanding your assignment, understanding who you are, what you've been called to do, understanding your personality, understanding your love language, and then also for you to be able to know exactly how you to be able to clearly see yourself, because sometimes we are not able to maximize our potential because we don't see ourselves the way we don't see our flaws, we don't see our strengths. And so when you are not clear, when you don't see yourself clearly, you're not able to see opportunities clearly, you're not able to see any kinds of teachings given to you clearly, you're not able to maximize your potential so that you can become everything that God called you to be. So in this class, unfortunately, it's only for women. This class is geared towards empowering you so that you can discover you, understand you clearly, you understand your strengths, your weaknesses, and how your childhood affects how you behave, what you perceive, the things that you attract, but you also have the power to change. Anything that you do not like, you are not stuck. You are not a tree. You are able to change anything that is not in line with where you want to go. So I want to encourage you that if I want to encourage you to go ahead. Let me actually see if I can put it in the comments. It's called Discover Your Superpower Program. Yeah. Yeah, it's Discover Your Superpower Program. And I'll put my phone number. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, Discover Your Superpower Program. And then let me see if I have my phone number here. Yeah, and that's my phone number there, 346-298-119. And so you can be able to reach out to me, text me, inbox me on Facebook, or you can just, call me, and I can be able to give you more information on the program, what it entails, and all those different things, because it's an 8-week program, and it has a lot of good information that will completely transform your life, regardless of whether you're in business, whether you just want to develop yourself as a person, whether you want to become a leader. These are powerful tools that we are going to address that will be able to help you, will be able to help you discover your own superpower. A lot of times we look at people and we sometimes admire them because of what they've accomplished or what they are doing, but we have the same capacity to be able to do those things. We just need to develop ourselves. The people you admire, they took time out to develop themselves, and now they're able to use their gift at its maximum potential. And so when you look at them, we're wowed by what they're doing, but they took time to understand themselves, to develop their gifts, and now they're able to do what they've been called to do. And you have the ability to do the same. You need to be able to just take time to discover you, discover what has been put inside of you, because in every human being, there's treasure hidden inside of you. God did not just create you to be an ordinary person. You are created to do extraordinary things. That's why and you are already winning. You came into this world winning. I always tell people that all when you are being conceived, there are all these millions of sperms that were released, but you are the one that made it and connected with the egg, and now you are here. You started as a winner, you will finish as a winner. But the journey in between, you have to work that journey so that you can be able to finish as a winner by discovering your purpose, maximizing your potential, and becoming everything that you've been called to be. So don't settle for mediocrity, because there's greatness inside of you. And that's why, even in this session, I want you to, if you're struggling with procrastination, which is one of the deadliest things that is affecting us right now, you want to be able to address it. You want to be able to face it headstrong and just maximize your potential and do the things you've been called to do. So guys, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you here. And make sure you share this with your, make sure you share this, because a lot of people need to get to hear this information. They need to learn, and they just need to maximize their potential. And most of all, if you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram, or which other one, YouTube, make sure, especially YouTube, make sure you're following us on YouTube, because we're gonna be putting a lot of good content and good interviews with different people, and you don't want to miss that. So guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And tomorrow is a new month, so start tomorrow strong. That's why we did this class today, 31st of January. We can procrastinate up to midnight. Then starting midnight, no more procrastination. Go and eat that frog. December, we need to be celebrating a different version of you. So go ahead and eat that frog. Do whatever you need to do. Beat procrastination so that you can become everything that you've been called to be. So guys, thank you so much. It's been real. Discover your superpower, because you are created to break limitations. Bye, guys.